I'm not afraid to say I can understand where people really enjoy the idea of kink or role play and foreplay in their sexual trysts together. Choking during sex. I understand where some people like it. I never got that, but I'm not against it. Again, we are all depraved and debaucherous, as we know. And choking during sex could be about as depraved and debaucherous as you can get. So this is the epitome of it. We're going to talk about it because there's a story inside psychology post about how choking during sex is surprisingly common among college students, even though most don't find it very pleasurable. A study was published in the Archives of Sexual Behavior. 40% of undergraduate and graduate students have participated in sexual choking. And they're saying part of it might be the fact that where they see social media and pornography has led to a rapid increase in sexual choking, especially among adolescents and young students. Now, choking for the most of history in sex has been considered controversial and risky, and involving using hands, limbs, or ligatures to squeeze the neck or restrict airflow. They got a big sample of people. Over 4,000 graduate or undergraduate students recruited from a university in the Midwestern United States. They did not identify which one. 63% undergraduates, 37% graduate or professional students. And a lot of different variables were included, which includes a lifetime history of choking, being choked, the age of first being choked, how many partners they've choked or been choked by, consent, method, frequency of choking, choking intensity, response to being choked, and if they ever lost consciousness or caused a partner to lose consciousness from sexual choking. 40% said they partaken in sexual choking. More common in undergraduate students and the graduate students. Participants on average were 19 years old when they first experimented, and a quarter of participants reported being first choked between 10 and 17 years of age. That's nuts. And less than 1% shared that themselves or a partner ever lost consciousness. So some people get into a little bit and they just kind of let go. There's a movie. What is the movie I'm thinking right now? That's right. One movie I always keep thinking of all the time when I think of this is the movie with Sean Connery and Wesley Snipes. What was that called? Oh, Rising Sun. What a great movie. 1993. Because a young lady is in a boardroom of this big Japanese company and she is choked. But first of all, the guy that she is in the room with during a party is sexually choking her, but was in a sexual act with her. And then she was left there in a position of being satisfied and just resting on the table. But then a masked assailant followed up and entered the room and then targeted her and then really tried to choke her to death. And they choked her to death. But I always think about that fact that was like they showed that in the movie, but then you're saying this is so common. So in the study, they talk about how with choking now prevalent among youth, it's important for parents, educators, and clinicians to consider how they educate young people about choking during sex. This is where we need sexual education off the bat. And for the fact that some people need to have this during sex at a young age doesn't make sense. This is something for kink. Where does this come from where we need to go and have this going on here? I feel like there's something about it's really a dominant submissive kind of thing at a young age. And are guys feeling they could just do that because they feel like it's just something that they feel like it's normal? Because it shouldn't be. Look, if you are very comfortable in a relationship, I'm put like this. I understand if people go this far, if you've been very sexually active with each other for a long time and you need to mix it up, you wanted to continue to keep this sexual activity fresh, fun, interesting, and never boring, then I can understand going here. In roleplay, I can understand going here. But I never thought of putting my hands or having someone put their hands on my neck. Now, I will say, without going into detail, that I had a girl that, she was not necessarily very, what's the word I'm looking for? She didn't care about consenting to me when she decided to go ahead and get on top of me and restrict my airflow. because she did do that. She was a bigger girl. And when she got on top of me, yeah, the way her body was set, I was not able to move my body off of her. I couldn't do it. And then when that happened, I was being choked in a way because I could not. But the thing was, I wasn't necessarily on my back. I was not lying on my back. I was lying on my stomach. But even then, when the girl was on top, older woman was on top of me, because of her weight, it restricted my airflow. I couldn't breathe. And I was struggling just to get up, move around. She wouldn't move. I don't know what to think about that, but it actually happened. And I feel like that right there, I think for some people, there's a lot of different reasons. What if it's something that might be because a woman might have experienced something like that from some kind of an assault, and then somehow incorporates, because a woman might get sexualized from the abuse that she goes through, this might be incorporated into sexual acts down the line. But I think if it's done where people are just trying to experiment and explore themselves and see where it goes, because obviously people like to see what makes a better high, what makes a better orgasm, I guess this is what they go with. The part where you lose consciousness or you start losing airflow to your brain and to the rest of your body, wow. It's scary, man. And then when they also found out that for a sexual practice is consequential to health and potentially lethal, a minority of participants, a sizable minority, describe being choked as very pleasurable. If it is not very pleasurable and yet carries significant risks, it is curious how choking has grown so quickly in prevalence. I'd be concerned about that, man. Look, there's all the fun you can have in role play, and I think there's other things you can be doing. Listen, if you want to spank, you want a little bit of torture, whatever, things like that. Listen, there's stuff like out there, different strokes for different folks, right? I don't know if choking is for me. I couldn't do it. I'm not saying that people can't try it, but I think if you're going to do it, it's like, maybe you want to find out why the person wants to get choked, if they're asking for it. Or if you do it, just make sure you got something safe to make sure that you're not doing anything to harm your partner. Because listen, if you're having sex with them, you want to care about them. You want to be considerate. You want to be safe with them. So please put safe words out there. And when you hear them, please stop and console with your partner to make sure they're okay. Come on. You at least need to be a little safe when you're going to be depraved and debaucherous.